Effective classroom management is the instructor's ability to create an environment conducive to success for the lesson. This is no different in the middle school environment. But it does stand to reason you should take into account the grade level you are instructing. Most will agree that a third grader communicates, receives, and retains information differently than an 11th grader. They're in different places developmentally and socially, and likely had a different set of life experiences to pull from to create their social norms in the classroom. So what about a 7th grader? 4 years older than that 3rd grader, 4 years younger than that 11th grader. Middle school grades are unique for our students. Students are undergoing a number of changes in their lives during this phase. Some of them are social, academic, and some are developmental. That isn't to say that all students are going through this transitional phase at the same pace. Some will seem more like elementary students, and some may already be in the teenage high school phase. These differences will likely show up as behaviors in your classroom, and how well you manage them will determine the success of your lessons. So let's talk about some strategies that can set your middle school classroom up for success. Number 1, modeling behavior. The problem: students struggle when presented with tasks that are outside the normal routine, such as lab work or group work, role play, or projects. The solution? Practice makes perfect. Model exactly what you want to see, then have the students try it on their own in an environment they are free to make mistakes. For example, in my middle school classroom, we were to dissect sheep brains one time. I knew this was going to be a challenge, but I had a dissection safety lab set up, which we used oranges to practice the dissection with all the tools necessary. It's a low-stakes method to teach them how to utilize the tools and prepare them for what they were likely to experience in the real lab. Number 2, assigning roles. The problem? The energy level is off the charts. Your solution? Design your class like a small community. Everyone needs a role to fill to make the community function. So draw up a contract that states all the roles and go about assigning students to fulfill them. This works best after you get to know your students, so you have an idea of what they can do and what they can't. Do you have a student that's overly active to start the lesson every day? Consider having them in charge of supplies. This gives them an outlet to get rid of some energy, interact with classmates, and be a vital role in their classroom community. Number 3, restorative circles. The problem? Students don't show appropriate respect to each other or to staff. This can manifest itself in name calling or maybe just talking out of turn. The solution? Try using restorative circles to teach empathy in your classroom. The suggestion is, though, to start the process early before you have issues with things like icebreakers or with academic content. You want to create a scenario where individuals can speak and be heard by the room. Keep it positive and keep it brief. Once you set the routine, you can utilize these to corral a lesson that goes awry or maybe even head off peer-to-peer conflict. Number 4, interest inventory. The problem? You're struggling to create positive relationships with students. Middle school students can be a tough crowd, but that doesn't mean you can't create relationships that lead to academic success. Your solution? Survey your students. Find a set of routines you can utilize in casual interactions. This is great for middle school grades. This is often a phase where students begin to feel a strong connection with the activities they participate in. Have some rowdy boys who like baseball? Study up and surprise them by dropping some baseball knowledge in your bell ringer one day. The goal is to make yourself relatable and show you care about them as a full person. These are just a handful of strategies I found to be uniquely effective in the middle school setting. But some things hold true no matter the setting, no matter the grade level. So when it comes to classroom management, the thing I want you to hold above all else is your expectations. And 3 things about those expectations. 1, how you teach what you want students to do. 2, what are you going to do if they don't meet those expectations? And 3, how are you going to resolve those situations? If you can think through those 3 questions when planning your lessons, you'll prevent yourself from reacting with emotion in the moment. Instead, you'll have plans that prevent problems, and you'll have a sound strategy to fall back on when things don't go so well. 2 things that stand out as important to you for you to thrive as a middle school teacher: relationships and planning. The better you relate to your students, the easier it is to keep their engagement level high. High school instructors are often great at building relationships because at that grade level, students tend to tie their identity, activity, and interest. Now, the more organized your plan, the better. Have a plan and be able to adjust your plan. Elementary instructors tend to be great planners. Young students often need structures and routines to thrive in education. The best middle school teachers, they need to be great at both.